It is known that Rambam, Maimonides, had one of his central ideas in terms of human character is that in most cases it's good to be somewhere in the middle. With some rare exclusions, most of the midot, what's called, most of the character traits, it's better to choose the middle way. Now, the main book, the magnum opus of Rambam, the Mishnah Torah, it includes much more than, let's say, books like Shulchan Aruch and other codes of Jewish law. Because the general codes of Jewish law are very technical. There is a lot on laws of Shabbat, but there is hardly anything on the midot, on human qualities, on ethics and things like that. That is the domain of Sifrei Musar generally, a different group of books. But Shulchan Aruch is a relatively dry book that talks about specific laws, how you can keep kashrut, Shabbat, and many other laws. But Rambam, his book includes a lot of other things, philosophy and general ideas and beliefs and ethics and all kinds of things. So his Mishnah Torah starts, among other things, with the Hilchot Deot and with what's called Deot. And that's the book that's the part of his halachot that includes the qualities. And he says that ideally one should be somewhere in the middle. But he also says that in order to achieve the middle, if a person already has somewhat bad qualities, let's say a person is incredibly stingy, so what do? So you become very much the opposite for a while. Right? In order to get to the middle, you have to first choose the opposite of your natural trait. This is all pretty straightforward and intuitive, and I'm sure Rambam is not the only one who wrote this before and after. I'm sure there are sources like that all over in both Jewish literature and non-Jewish literature. This is not the issue I wanted to discuss right now. What I wanted to discuss is that it seems to me that to a large extent it can work on a societal level and like a global level as well. And that is that some people complain that today there is no real middle in the government in America. Very, very little middle left. There are either people who are on the one side or people on the other side. There's very, very, very few people staying somewhere in the middle. But in my humble opinion, the way it started is that the radical left tried to hijack the Democratic Party. I mean, they've been trying that for years, but they were relatively successful, starting with more or less the times of Obama, and it got only worse over time. In Obama's time, it was still relatively moderate, but in the last few years, basically the situation was getting worse and worse. I mean, it was happening before, like I said, but the larger effect of people, and a lot of it comes from colleges also. Some of the college professors, they're just absolutely horrid. I mean, it's so unbelievable. There's, for instance, this Canadian college professor who is supposed to be extradited to France for murdering a number of Jews, but instead they're keeping him to teach social justice. I mean, the things that are going on in the non-technical departments of colleges and the social sciences are sometimes it's totally unbelievable. I mean, there are definitely things to sometimes work on. There are certain things that could be better. I mean, every country has what to work on, but the radical left, what they say, it's absolutely horrendous. I mean, these people who are burning American flag, they come from somewhere. They're not, it's not in a vacuum that this is happening. There's a lot of people who feel that, the far left wing of the Democratic Party basically hijacked the party. Now, their influence may be relatively small right now, but since they're the core voters, and without them, no Democrat would ever win. So they have to, regular Democrats who used to be maybe closer to the middle, they have to take into account the far left wing of their party. If they're not going to cave into their demands, at least partially, then they're just never going to win. So the party is being basically moved to the far left. And I think the natural reaction is that therefore the opposite side also is moving. It's not the fault of the opposite side, in my opinion. It didn't start with the Republicans. It started with the Democrats. But once people went all the way to the left, so the opposite reaction is happening. That's not a surprise. Nobody's going to sit quiet and wait till the people get really angry when they see the quotes and what is going on, and they say, what's happened to my country? I mean, there are a lot of Americans who are real patriots, and a lot of them would be in the middle. In fact, most of America used to be more or less in the middle, but the reason that some of the people are moving way to the right is obviously because of the hijacking that's happening on the left. That's my opinion. Could be there are other opinions there. Definitely, I'm not claiming to know the truth, but this is at least one of the contributing factors, in my opinion, is that in order to get somewhere in the middle, you first have to push it to the right. That's the only way to get somewhere closer to the middle eventually. Maybe one day America will have some middle of the road in the government again. So we'll hope for the best.